Okay, so now we're going to get into a creative character. After doing our SpongeBob and looking at dimension, now we'll take a look at a human character and try and get some dimensional traits on that. So what I want to do is kind of create a little bit of a checklist as to the theme and know a little bit more about the subject matter before we get drawing. So this is kind of maybe a process that you can go for our final project. This one's more of a practice. Then we'll do the final project of whatever theme you like. But I'm picking a theme for this demo for you to follow along with, and then let you go next lesson in coming up with your own original idea. So one is, and let me work on a checklist here, we need to come up with a theme, as in, who is this character? So what I want to do in this lesson is an artist. And other than that, I want to figure out the gender of the character. And in this case, I am going to do a female. Also important, what is the age of the character? Because we can do anything. I mean, the great thing about drawing is we can draw any age, any type of character we want. But this one I want to keep it simple, so I'm going to have a character in their 20s. And though it's an artist, and coming up with a design, and almost an illustration really, is the character should be doing something. So what is the activity that this character is doing? Now, it's an artist, so that should give us some hints, but there's lots of different mediums and different types of art. But in this case, I'm going to have the character doing a traditional painting on canvas. So last thing I want to have in my list to follow along and experiment with is the stature of the character. So let me put that down. And now what does that mean, stature? Well, really what I want to get across on this one is that I'm going to draw a thin character. But also under stature, and again, I'm not going to get down to details here, but also got to think of the proportions of the character. Okay, so now we got kind of a plan, and we want to move forward on that one. So using our blue, I'm using a different blue today. Kind of ran out of my other one, but this is the blue I do like. This is a Kohli Race 20044, kind of an industry one that we use in animation, but same idea as behind the blue that was in your art kit. So what I want to do is kind of block in what's going on here. That's why we use the blue. So I'm going to start with a head, which I'm going to use a circle on, and a neck coming out. And then what I want to do very quickly is kind of box some things in. So I've got, so it's going to have a smaller, so we talk about proportions, I'm going to have a smaller chest area, torso. I'm going to have the pelvis, hips kind of kicking back like that. I'm going to have all the weight on this leg here coming straight down, and then a foot around here. So the other leg I'm going to bring forward, and because we're working in dimension, the 1 foot here, the other one's going to be back here. And that helps give us some perspective. Okay, and then that working. So arms, I'm going to have one arm coming back and then down on the hip, and the hand coming out this way. And then the other arm coming out, and in that palm of the hand, I'm going to have that kind of classic artist thing. They're putting their thumb up and they're assessing their artwork and checking proportions and things. And then in this scenario, they're going to be doing a painting. So I'm actually going to have a canvas on an easel here. So this is where perspective really comes in. Just like SpongeBob, I am having the idea that there's a horizon line around here and that the canvas is coming down, it's coming up. With everything, we should have an idea of what the object is and how it's constructed. So if you know anything about stretch canvas, and when you're doing a traditional painting, usually the canvas is stretched over a frame. And I'm just going to put this wavy line that's the canvas being stretched and then stapled, nailed to a wood frame, which I kind of indicated here. So that canvas isn't just going to float. It's going to be on an easel, and there's going to be legs coming down. So real perspective on this, that the one leg is behind this foot, the other leg's going to be in front of that foot. And then we're going to have a leg back here, which is going to be kind of between these two, holding the whole thing up here. Okay, so again, this perspective is going off to this vanishing point, this going down. So now we've got to apply all that to our character. So what I want to do here is give these boxes some dimension. So I'm going to have the chest area leaning back, and here's the side, and the same with the hip. It is going in that direction. So this is the waist, so it's bringing the hip back and such. We've got that leg shape. I'm going to have very thin legs coming down, and then the foot coming around down here. And here's a trick here for dimension, is this foot should be coming out towards us. This one can be almost side view going this way. So the foot I'm going to do here, I'm going to have a box just to help me with that perspective, that it's a dimensional box coming out towards us. So that's the angle the foot's going to come out. Okay, so the next trick I'm going to have here is the accessories. So one of the things I'm going to do is they're going to be wearing a smock. So it's going to hang down like so. And the big trick here with dimension is that these straps are going to have to look like they're draping over the shoulder, and that's what's actually holding that schmuck up. Okay, so, and again, I'm holding my pencil this way when I do my roughs. I like here to keep me from doing detail, so I'm just blocking things in. And I can switch over to here when I start getting into detail. So, here, let's take a look at the head. I want to concentrate on the head and the three dimension of that. So I'm going to, so we've got the head coming around, and then I've got chin and cheek and such going on like that. So the head is kind of circular, so we can have an ellipse and an ellipse. So this line's really important because 3/4, we're going to see more of this side of the head and front, and this is going to be tapering away in the distance to us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have our artist character. I'm going to have one wide open eye, and they're going to be looking down at this artwork. And then the other eye, which would be smaller and narrower because it's on a dimensional circular surface, tapering in the distance. But this one, I'm going to have the eye slightly closed because they're checking out their artwork. I'm going to have a little nose coming here. So that's pretty two-dimensional, but a three-dimensional nose, we can kind of show that shape here and then that coming up. And now the mouth, I'm going to have that they're being very critical about their artwork, so I'm going to have them kind of that lip coming out like that. So I'm going to bring this down, that down to the chin, and then back up the jawline and have the ear coming out around here, smaller ear. So all about proportions. And now artists, if we want to have kind of cliche about our artist, they wear certain things like our smock and such. So I'm going to give this character a hat. I'm going to give it a French beret sort of hat to this character. So it's trying to get that to look like it's fitting on the head. So it's where we draw through and show the head, and now we want to make sure that the hat's sitting on top and over that shape of the head. So again, this is a working drawing. We're just experimenting and taking a look at dimensional drawing. So female character. So I'm going to have lots of frizzy hair coming out. And the same here. There we go. Now, got to make some decisions here. So more of a t-shirt here. So shirt-wise, I'm going to have an ellipse here because this sleeve is going to be kind of coming out towards us. And the arm is coming out of that and then coming down here. And the bent at the wrist, the hand's coming out as it's sitting on the hip of the character. So, character being an artist, so they've drawn something here or painted something here. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to block in some fingers here, and I'm going to have a brush coming out. So there we go. So even doing the brush, it's construction. It's knowing how a brush works, that it's usually metal piece here holding on to the bristles and then a wooden handle. And now, fingers coming up and down, have other finger coming up and down and another one back here. And then the palm and then the wrist. So again, all in blue, we can play and try and get that to work even better. So the smock, it's going to come around and then down, and then it's going to rotate up here, and back here is where it's going to be attached. So here's the top. I want to get that working. It's all structures, kind of making sure it all makes sense and works. So there's going to be a bit of a bow back here holding that smock on. And now here, this arm, we can get away with kind of a two-dimensional design here. So straight line, and I'm going to curve this up into that palm. We're going to have the thumb out, and then these fingers all folded back here. There we go. There. So I got legs kind of roughed in, but we looked at the shape of leg and everything, but I'm going to do bulkier sort of pants on the character. So let me see, I'm going to get that out. And let me see, at the end of the pant, I'm going to do an ellipse because it's pant leg, as we know, is kind of circular. And then I'm going to have, let me see, I'm going to have the smock a little, not as long. This leg coming out, here's kind of the knee. And there we go. Here, I might move this foot over some. But then I want to get that idea of the shoe coming out towards us. There we go. Yeah, that kind of works. And again, where's our eraser? I'm just going to erase this line. So I can work that out. So I'm going to have, yeah, let me see, maybe make the schmuck even. Less, so I can see the knee here. I want to see the knee over here as well. Kind of an ellipse here. And then I'm going to have this foot coming out. There we go. Again, I'll fine tune all that structure and such once I get down into the final cleanup on here. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, it's looking all right. And now, simple painting that this character would be working on. Still life, which artists quite often do. And I'm going to have just a simple flower plant here. And in a vase. Have a leaf here and a leaf there. There we go. So we kind of got everything in here. So now I can get into kind of finalizing thing. I've been using a pencil in this case, I find when I use the pencil and the way the light works, it kind of reflects. So I'm going to use the black pencil crayon that was is in your kit. So I'll make use of it for this. See how it goes. Okay. So here we go. So I want to get this, and sometimes, yeah, we can erase a little bit if we can. So I can get this character. I might bring the nose up just slightly. And again, I want to make sure their eye direction, that the eye is looking down. At that painting. Again, I'm talking about expression before. So the expression here is very critical sort of look that they're assessing. Is this looking all right? And that's where they got the bottom lip kind of coming out here as they're looking at that. Okay, so let me see, I'm going to get that line coming down on the side of the face. I want to bring this line down. Oh, not sure where I want it to go, but still, hey, it's all right. Then a smaller ear coming over here. And then giving the character a relatively long neck. And I can put a little shadow there because the head protrudes out from the neck, so we can add some little shadows and things to get that dimensional quality. So here's that smock that I want to get that idea that it is coming around and is dimensional. That is a dimensional chest, torso, and that smock's going in behind. Okay, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself here. I should go back and finish the head. So the hat, here it's got more of a tighter rim here, and I want to make sure that just sticks out from the head here, so it looks like it's fitting onto the character well. And then I want to get that kind of baggy sort of look of a beret. And if you're not familiar with one of those, that's where we do some research. Look some up. Take a look. See what they look like. And yeah, so that's working cool. Give it even more dimension. I could put a seam. This is where construction, how you build something. Put a seam going around. And that suddenly gives it a lot more dimension. How it's working. Okay. Here we go. Gonna do that frizzy hair coming out. And again, this is just my interpretation of a female artist taking a look at, critically looking at their painting. Okay, so I'm trying to get that dimensional sort of look. And thinking back to all our other lessons, from the front view, the side view, expressions and proportions, and I'm trying to put that all into effect here. So on this one, you can follow along on this one. You can, again, as usual, you can adjust this to your own kind of creative ideas here. This all lead up into one of which I'm going to let you come up with your own theme. But this one is a follow along and build up to the big final project. Here we go. So this one's tricky here. So that was the wrist. Here's the palm. Now I've got this brush coming out. There's that metal part. Here is the brush, and I got a little paint dripping off it. So here I got that smaller finger here would be coming up and folding over, holding it. Here's the next finger coming and folding over, and another one that we can see back here. Okay, and I've got that hip coming out and getting that working. Okay, so here I'm going to bring this down. Now here, this line of the smock here is kind of lining up with the leg of the pants here. So yeah, I don't want that to be the same line, so I'm going to kind of change this. I'm going to have this kind of come out a bit like this, and then back, and then up this way. And now the leg of the pants can be here. bring that in a bit, bring this down. So that's kind of where the knee would be here. And then down here, there's just a bit of a back of the pants folding. And then we've got that cuff of the pant that's been turned up. So we have that ellipse, and then we got that dimension. Just want to get across that cylindrical shape that we have on the pants. Okay. Now the foot, very thin ankle coming out. Got the shoe and the line here. The heel coming back, and then the toe. Again, I want to get the illusion that it's coming out towards us. And then I can add a bit of sole on the shoe. And again, that coming out. So hopefully that kind of creates a bit of an illusion. Again, I did the shadow up here. I'm going to put a little shadow down here. Showing some shadow shows depth, that something is in further forward of something, and as if there was a light source that casts down onto the object in behind. So I'm going to do this other leg here. So again, this one being in the distance, or a little further back, it looks just slightly smaller. And as I was mentioning, you know, that foot would be higher than this one. The heels would kind of line up. So just trying to get that same sort of foot shape. And again, we're kind of two-dimensional here because that foot is in profile to us. But I do want it to look kind of same sort of shape construction there. There we go. So back here, yeah, let me finish here. I'm kind of jumping around here. Here's that little bow that is holding the smock on. Now we're bringing this sleeve out, and this one's kind of two-dimensional as well, because it's right in profile to us, the viewer. Now the hand, we've got that palm, got the thumb coming up. There's that little fold, so we know we're looking on the inside of the hand. Here is finger folded over, finger folded over, finger folded over. We can even have a little bit of shading so that it's folded, because we've got, you know, the knuckle and then two joints on the finger. This could be where they're folding over at the second joint. Okay, there we go. We've got our character pretty much done. Let me see, I can put a couple little marks here just to show that there's a little bit of wrinkle fabric happening on that smock. And now last, to finish this up, we can do our canvas. And again, I've deliberately set it up so that the hand is overlapping. Wherever you can overlap kind of gives us depth. So I'm going to get that overall shape here. Oh, bent board. And I can't erase this black marker, so I'm going to go with it. There we go, and there's that idea, the canvas back here. Structure and construction helps work out structure, and that gives us dimension. So any good artist has a good idea how things are constructed and built so that they can figure out how to draw it. Because I don't have anything in front of me. I don't have a canvas or any of this. This is all from my imagination. So I got to understand the principles of all that works. And that's what, yeah, we're attempting to do for all of you out here that are taking this class. So you know what it takes for character design. And again, here's that structure going on. We're looking down because we're below that horizon line. We're looking up here above the horizon line. And then the legs. And again, to get perspective and structure working is that this leg is got to end here. Again, that's going up towards that horizon line. And this one is going to be on this side of the leg. And again, this is further up, this is further down, and that helps our perspective. Okay, and this one's got to go up in that direction. So these, should use my blue here, are the same line here, and this is the same line going across this way. Now back here, that one, so this is coming back this way. So this actually should be here, and then that angle would be happening there, and we get that. So it's all checking out structure of things. And again, we can put some shadow on the overhang there, a little down here and there. So hopefully that gives us the illusion of the dimension and such that we're out for. So there it is, all kind of come together here. And oh, here, I'm going to put a little bit of paint splat happening here. I don't know if that worked out very well. Should have done it in blue first. So the paint's been dripping and hitting the ground. So we want that to look like it's on the ground plane and such working too. So there's a lot more to that, but this is a good introduction, I think, I hope, in drawing in Dimension. Again, this is a practice, all leading up to our big final project. So again, having our themes and what it is we're going to be drawing. We got a little checklist, and then try to apply it visually. All right, well, have fun with this. And yeah, next week I'll introduce, really creative, and we'll go through the possibilities here, which you can come up with your own character and all the elements. Going to put that character together. Okay, have fun.